The Vision High School Sports Beat is brought to you by the 11 locally owned Vision Automotive Group dealerships, offering Buick GMC, Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, Hyundai, Kia, and Nissan, and the resale division, with locations in Webster, Henrietta, Penfield, Fairport, Canandaigua, Ontario, and Palmyra, and online at visionauto.com. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. This is the Vision High School Sports Beat. I'm Bill Pucko. Every week at this time, we take a comprehensive look at sports in Section 5 in Monroe County, and we begin with our honor roll of high school teams. At number 3 this week, Fairport girls soccer and field hockey. These Raider teams have combined for a 14-0 record in the early going. Shanae Sinclair had 2 goals and 2 assists in the soccer win over Gates. Allie Prescott had 2 goals and an assist in the field hockey win over East Rochester. At number 2, Canandaigua boys soccer is off to a 7-0-1 start. The Braves got 2 goals and an assist from Tristan Briggs and a big win over Pittsford Mendon. And at number 1, Pittsford girls swimming. Winners of 13 consecutive sectional crowns, the Panthers claim the New Hartford Invitational Championship behind a meet record performance by the 200 medley relay team of Katie Mullen, Sarah Cooper, Megan Duell, and Sarah Smith. Which brings us to our Team of the Week and the obvious early season success of the local football team in everybody's crosshairs now.
Oh! Finish!
Just 3 weeks into the local high school football season, Victor has made a real statement. A decisive win over Pittsford came on the heels of an opening night victory over Aquinas. That was a landmark moment for the Blue Devils, and for the entire section for that matter. Area football teams simply don't beat Aquinas. Heck, they don't even play them until they have to.
Pittsford had done it in the past, and there was that unwritten rule, but, you know, someone's got to beat them at some point, and I thought we could compete, and I wanted to know where we were, and you know, they're still very good. We just got a couple breaks that game, and we luckily came out on top.
So what's the end result? Do you feel it was a landmark game? You got to feel a little bit differently about yourselves coming out of a contest like that.
We do. I mean, they're the gold standard in the state, and they're really who we want to be. And we wanted to see where we stood, and luckily, week 1 we came out on top. As I was just telling, we got some other challenges here: Pittsford, Fairport, Rush, Henrietta. Everyone's pretty good this year, so it's going to be a great sectional, I think, when we get there.
Behind a 3-0 start, Victor is clearly the team to beat in a stacked classification. That position comes with new expectations, which need to be, if not tempered, at least controlled.
Coach we have a bigger picture. We want to be that one team. We got to win sectionals. We got to make sectionals first of all. We got to win sectionals. We want to be that first team for Victor to win states. But he said, got to keep your head on straight. It was just 1 win. We got a whole season to go.
You did something that hadn't been done in 10 years, and you had a lot of time to think about it.
I mean, I think we're still the same, because I know that we all know that it was just a regular season game. I mean, who knows, we might have to play them again down the road. It's just one game. We got to keep moving on to the next for now.
Despite having already beaten Aquinas and Pittsford, Victor still has games ahead with Rush Henrietta and Fairport in back-to-back weeks, and possible rematches with all 4 in sectionals. That opening game win over the Little Irish put the Blue Devils on the map and in everyone's crosshairs.
First game of the year, I mean, the teams come out rusty. I mean, I thought we came out rusty at the beginning. I mean, we had an unforced turnover. But as the year goes on, I'm sure both of our teams will be getting a lot better.
And you expect to see them again?
I do. I do expect to see them again.
Victor at Rush Henrietta next Saturday will be the second matchup of 1 versus 2 in the coaches' poll in the last 3 weeks. When we return, Tracy Swalbeck has a lot on her plate. She's in our Dunkin' Donuts Coaches Corner. And volleyball is king in Penfield, especially in the Solomon household. when the Vision High School Sports Beat continues. Introducing Dunkin's new cold brewed coffee, steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra smooth, full bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'. Welcome back to the Vision High School Sports Beat. This is our Coach's Corner presented by Dunkin' Donut. And it's our pleasure to be joined by the Churchville Chi-Li High School girls swim coach, Tracy Swalback. Tracy, it's a classic example of you give work to a busy person. Tell us what you do here.
I am a school counselor with a drug and alcohol certification, so I do drug and alcohol counseling here as well. And then I'm the varsity swim coach. I also coach for modified as well in the winter. I also am on a bunch of committees as well as the sophomore class advisor this year.
How do you work in coaching into all of that?
I plan my practices, very carefully. And I just try to balance, like when I'm at work, and then, when I'm with the girls, I make sure that I'm there and present for them and just, kind of try to manage my time as best as I can.
You spend a lot of your professional time with what you termed at-risk kids, and then on the other hand, you have the swim team, which, in our way of thinking, the sports kids are the kids that kind of have it all together. How is that in terms of you get really the complete experience here, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. But I come from the philosophy that everybody should work to their highest potential. So really, I just treat them all the same. I think that the swimmers can be pushed, and even if they are AP and IB kids, they're pushing themselves and they're taking risks and they're continuing to grow. And same with the at-risk kids, is that they're reaching beyond what their potential is, and I keep pushing for that, no matter where they're at, where they start. So
at-risk kids, and you have it's a drug and alcohol specific, and you deal with some of these kids. I think it's sort of behind the curtain. We don't really get it from the outside. How serious is the drug problem at a school these days?
I think that in Rochester, we're really struggling in general in the community with addiction. And I think that we don't necessarily know until it's too late. And so that's the hard part. So I really try to focus on a lot of prevention right now, because in the Rochester area, we're seeing this epidemic that's coming up where people are dying. And so we really need to focus here in high school, but even middle school and elementary school, of how do we prevent that and how do we show that we've got to deal with our problems in different ways, and that how do we not get kids to start using drugs is really the key.
How do you do that? I mean, what is the program to prevent someone from getting involved?
Yeah, so right now I go into 7th grade FACS classes when they talk about decision making, and I do a lesson on how do you make healthy decisions when peer pressure is starting to come up and people are starting to experiment with drugs and alcohol. We also work with Red Ribbon Week, and so we do a push for that. In the 9th through 12th, and then I partner with the health teachers during their alcohol and drug unit, and I try to bring a perspective that's not the educational piece, but more of what's the reality and what's going on in our community. So last year I went in and talked about the heroin epidemic that we're having and the reality of what's going on, so that these kids know that if they're starting to smoke pot or they're starting to experiment, that there are real people out there that are dying.
How do you measure success?
It's hard, because I try to look at how many kids am I reaching with the prevention, but as long as, I think if one person hears, then that's showing that this is needed and that's needed. But it's hard because it's not really measurable. You sometimes don't know the effect until years later.
Well, keep up the good work. It's been good having you on the Coach's Corner. Tracy Swalback, the 4th-year head swim coach for the girls here at Churchville Chi-Li High School, our guest on the Dunkin' Donuts Coach's Corner. Coming up, we salute our Wegmans Making the Grade nominee, and later, the Solomon Effect in Penfield, where volleyball is king, when the Vision High School Sports Beat continues.
Welcome back, and thanks for watching the Vision High School Sports Beat. I'm Kim Burnson. It's time now for Making the Grade, brought to you by Wegmans. Wegmans is a proud supporter of Making the Grade, which highlights the accomplishments of Section 5 student athletes on and off the playing field.
Making the grade this week is senior Mackenzie Peterson. Mackenzie is a 4-year starter and co-captain for Pittsford Mendon's varsity field hockey team. Through her first 6 games this season, she's helped her team to a fast start with 9 goals and 7 assists. When it comes to the classroom, Mackenzie's success is inevitable. Last year as a junior, she maintained a 93 average and has a schedule stacked with AP classes. She engages in student council as a class representative and is heavily involved with her school's animal club as the acting president. Believe it or not, she also holds a lead position in Spanish Club and is VP of Mendon's Interact Club, organizing school activities. It doesn't end when school lets out either. On top of all that, Mackenzie finds time during the summer months to volunteer with the Friends of Strong program in the Pediatric Surgical Suite. It's her dedication to her team and her community that make Mackenzie Peterson this week's Making the Grade honoree.
If you have a student in mind for our Making the Grade segment, we want your nominations. Send them in to info@classywolf.com. Now here's Bill with our Fidelis Care Section 5 calendar.
Fidelis Care offers quality, affordable health coverage for children and adults of all ages at all stages of life. Quality health coverage. That's our mission. Call 1-888-FIDELIS or visit fideliscare.org. Here's the best of what's on tap this week in Section 5. We begin Wednesday with what might be the game of the regular season of boys volleyball. McQuaid visits Penfield at 6 o'clock. The girls' soccer game of the week gets the weekend underway on Friday. Pittsford Sutherland is at Brockport. That starts at 6 o'clock. Then Friday Night Lights and the local football games. The Best finds Pittsford playing at Hilton at 7. And then on Saturday, that Victor Powerhouse plays at Rush Henrietta. Kickoff at 2 o'clock. That's not all. There's girls volleyball tournament at Aquinas all day Saturday. Pittsford Mendon is the team to beat there. And the big event of the cross-country schedule, the McQuaid Invitational at Genesee Valley Park. That's our Fidelis Care calendar for the week ahead. Which brings us to our weekly countdown of the Jim Dalberth Sporting Goods Top 5 High School Plays of the Week. Jim Dalberth Sporting Goods is proud to support student athletes who work hard on the field, in the classroom, and in their communities. Jim Dalberth Sporting Goods. Shoes, sports, service. Here are our top 5 high school football plays of the week, brought to you in cooperation with Varsity Media. At number 5, Rush Henrietta's at Webster Schrader. Comets in the white, throwing long right. It's Zach Bucci to Wendell Felder. 35 yards, a nice catch, and a touchdown. Penfield at Fairport, Raiders in the all-red, passing right. Keyshawn Howard at a 320-yard passing day, just 16 passes. This helps. He gets 80 of those to Mike Sabatine for the score. Number 3, Greece Arcadia is in the white at Brighton. Arcadia passing right to left. Oops. Noah Shinneman, 73 yards with a pick 6. The Barons are 3-0 for the first time in 17 years. And number 2, Churchville, Webster Thomas, Saints punting. Oops, again. The block, the scoop, and the score for Owen Conrad. And at number 1, our Jim Dalberth Sporting Goods Play of the Week, HFL with a lateral into the flat against Greece Olympia. Justice Watts to James Sager, who was just a little bit open. Penfield Volleyball and all things Solomon when the Vision High School Sports Beat continues. Sign Impressions is more than just signs. It's a total graphics company. Embroidery, screen printing, team apparel, t-shirts, jackets, hats, and of course banners and signs. Visit signimpressions.com. Call us at 723-0420 to order your team or corporate apparel. Welcome back and thanks for joining us. This is the Vision High School Sports Beat. I'm Bill Pucko. It is time now for our Honor Roll of High School Athletes, brought to you by the Injury-Free Coalition for Kids. The Injury-Free Coalition for Kids of Rochester and the Smart Teen Driving Program, funded by the Allstate Foundation, encourages teens to pay attention, not get distracted, and to drive safely. Here's our Honor Roll of High School Athletes. At number 3, from the Pittsford Sutherland girls volleyball team, Savannah Bothner had 11 kills and battled the unbeaten sweep of HFL. Number 2, Nathan Lawler won the first big cross-country meet of the year. Lawler was the top finisher in the Wayne Invitational. He'll be the local male runner to watch at the upcoming McQuaid Invitational. And at number 1, our top performer comes from Fairport football. The 3-0 Raiders beat Penfield behind a 321-yard passing game from Keyshawn Howard, who completed 10 of 16 passes, 3 of those 4 touchdowns. And now, Sticky Lips Barbecue presents our Athlete of the Week. Is your school looking to raise money? Sticky Lips Barbecue has you covered. Check out our community barbecue fundraisers. Sticky Lips quality is an easy sell. Visit StickyLipsBBQ.com for more details. The boys and girls volleyball teams in Penfield are both undefeated. That's not all they have in common. A number of area schools own outstanding volleyball teams, but none possess the consistency of excellence enjoyed by both the boys and girls programs at Penfield, dating back to the 80s when Jack Hunter coached both teams. Although they last won sectionals 7 long years ago, the boys have been finalists on a regular basis.
We've been to the finals 3 of the last 4 years, and this group in particular has been there the last 2 years together. This group of seniors, they were all sophomores when we first lost to McQuaid in 2014. Then we lost to them again last year, but I think they've come with a different sense of focus and purpose this year. They're really driven to do well.
Among Mike Fusar's best players is Jordan Solomon, a coach's kid. The girls' coach, coach's kid, Andrew Solomon.
When I was a younger player, he coached me a lot, but now he's kind of stepped back a little and let me be my own player. But he has been a huge influence in who I am today and how I play on the court.
Do you think he tries not to input because it's somebody else's team?
Yes, definitely, yeah.
Jordan is a very intelligent player, and I think that the intelligence has to be, probably apple doesn't fall very far from the tree, because Dad's an outstanding coach, and I think Jordan probably picked up on a lot of that. He was a younger player. We knew when he was coming through that he was going to be a good one.
Jordan was brought up in a volleyball family. Both his parents played the game, but he needed some convincing.
When he first tried it, he was really into other sports, but he gave it a try in 2nd grade, and it didn't really stick. You know, he tried it. It was hard getting into practice. He loved the games, of course, but didn't like the practice. And then we took a few years off, and he experimented with a lot of other sports. And then in 7th grade, we started a club, and he fell in love with it.
Does it ever get to be too much?
When I was little, I thought I was going to be an NFL player because I love football, but no, not now. It doesn't. I love it. I love every second of it.
A medical condition shortened Andrew Solomon's own playing career, but that only served to get him involved in coaching at an earlier age. Solomon does double duty these days when he can, watching his son play for the undefeated boys team from the stands under the guidance of his friend and colleague, before assuming command of his own team, the Penfield girls team. These Patriots have won 2 sectional titles in the past 5 years and laid claim to a state crown in 2011. In Penfield, volleyball takes a back seat to no one.
Volleyball, everyone comes to the volleyball games, always. There's always a big crowd at the volleyball games. I mean, when Penfield played McQuaid last year at McQuaid, tons of Penfield students came. The gym was packed. Even for sectional finals for the boys, it was loud.
And even if the girls' coach has one eye on the boys' team, he's actually a bigger fan of their game.
I like the girls' game better, only because I'm very picky about technique and how it looks, and sometimes, a lot of times, boys can get away with it not looking as pretty and still being very athletic and doing some things that maybe they wouldn't be able to do. Where girls, really everything is very particular, and the movements and the technique and the form, and it gets back to the roots and the basics of volleyball. And when they have that great technique, it just makes the game that much prettier, I think.
Patriots who are combined 12-0 to start the week. We'd like to thank our sponsors.
Especially the 11 dealerships in Vision Automotive Group. They make the Sports Beat possible.
As do you. Thanks once again for watching, and we'll see you next week with the Vision High School Sports Beat.